You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars and by Wellington Anti-Aging. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Houston has taken a 3-2 lead on Golden State and will look to close out the Warriors on their home court in Game 6 Saturday night and advance to the NBA Finals.
Yes, Marv Albert with the call there last night. Yes. Gotta love old Marv, man.
Yeah, man. I didn't know he was still around.
Yes.
I'm glad he is.
He is. He's doing great.
Good.
And his hair's as fake as mine.
I was going to say, who has better hair at this point?
Whoa.
Is it you or Marv
Elephant in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
His is a wig, though. That's different.
Do you think the whole thing's wig?
Oh, yeah. No, it's
top to bottom?
Terrible wig.
Yeah.
I think it's his wife's hair.
Yes, it's a wig. Diener, yes. Fake hair, yes.
I'm telling you, man, that's not.
Is that Marv Albert?
That's Walter Cronkite.
No, that's not.
And that's the way it is.
See, I said Humphrey Bogart, and you said that was
Humphrey
Musty.
Bogart. Yeah, I didn't know you were 70.
They're all so old, I have no idea.
Yeah, Walter Cronkite is like...
it sounds like Engelbert Humperdinck.
Walter Cronkite called the landing on the moon. He was the guy on the news. You're telling me Humphrey Bogart is musty?
We're fighting over 40-year-old
That's
references.
right.
I mean, it's Walter Cronkite.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Okay, yes.
Walter Cronkite.
Okay, Houston. They got the lead. It's all good. 3-2 on Golden State. There's good, there was bad. A little bit of both. Harden was horrible. 5 for 21.
Yeah, not a good game.
The heck?
Yeah.
That wasn't good.
He was 0 for 11 from 3 points.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
Which is surprising for him.
Yeah, that was bad. He's blowing it off. He's saying, you know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, I think he's got a comment on just basically saying, yeah, not a big deal. He said, who cares?
Who cares, right?
Who cares? That's his comment on it. Yeah, here he is talking a little bit post-game.
For us, nothing changes. You know, we just take game by game, possession by possession, try to compete our butts off, and give ourselves the best chance.
Yeah, well, you got a little bit of a cush. You got to go to Oakland tomorrow night. Is it a big deal? Chris Paul's out.
I think it's a huge deal.
Is that official?
Yeah.
He's officially out. Yeah, that's not a good thing.
It's a huge deal. Huge.
Now, I kind of saw it coming, though, because I figure why force this guy in a Game 6 at Golden State, in a game you're probably not going to win anyway. Their backs are against the wall.
Yeah.
They're at home. Save him for Game 7. You're probably going to get to Game 7 anyway, even if he plays Game 6.
Is he going to be back for Game 7?
That's the question.
I mean, hamstrings are kind of nasty, aren't they? I mean, they sideline people for a couple weeks sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, depends on the severity of it. He may be going with what's Diener's philosophy is that they're just like, all right, we don't know if we're going to be able to take this, but let's at least get him healthy for Game 7 in Houston.
And I hate to say that because you never want to think of a team going into a game thinking they're going to lose, but realistically, they're probably going to lose. So just save him for Game 7.
Yeah.
I think they will do anything they absolutely have to get him on the court in Game 7. No matter what needle they need to stick in his leg to make that happen, it's going to happen.
Does he get on the plane for that? Does he go and just kind of like chill on the bench? Or does he just kind of hang out in Houston and be like, I'll be here when you need me?
I think he needs to be there because being the point guard. Yeah, I think because being the point guard, you're kind of like the sort of like captain of the team. Like you're supposed to be like the guy that's kind of rallying around everybody. So it'd be like if Dwayne Wade wasn't playing, he would always travel. Like if it was a playoff game and he was there, he would always travel because he's like the morality coach of the whole
Yeah, you're like a rally.
Yeah, you're the
cat.
cheerleader.
Yeah, okay. Well, Durant, big game. In fact, when you look at teams and, what's going on with Cleveland right now, I really think, the big three, how many different teams? Celtics they started with their big three back in the day. Then, the Heat had their big three. And it seems like you got to have like a big three if you're going to be up and competing. Steph Curry, Durant, Klay Thompson. Of the 94 points that Golden State scored, they had 74 of them. Three guys.
Gosh.
Well,
that makes a difference.
Well, that's why the Andre Iguodala thing being out is so huge because if you lose in the rotation, if you wind up having to work those three guys more, one of them's bound to break down. And the other game, it was Klay Thompson.
Well, see, that formula actually used to work for the Heat. I remember there were some type of stat when they had their big three where anytime the three guys scored 70 points or more together, they were like unstoppable.
Right.
But that's because they did have help still. They had, guys, Mike Miller was hitting 3-pointers, or Ray Allen later on. And there was different guys, Haslam hitting that 15-foot jumper. So Iguodala is kind of like that guy, to Ricky's point, where you need him in there to even things out.
He's a great sixth man.
But when you say maybe Klay Thompson's that X factor, though, his points seem to swing. He did 28 one game, he did 8 the next. Is he kind of the one guy where it's like you just don't know, and the fortunes? Because you look at Curry, he looks pretty consistent. Durant is, had 29 points. He's pretty solid. You can expect that from him like every single night. Mm-hmm. But it seems like Klay Thompson, and where the Warriors going to go depends upon how he's shooting.
And that's what I don't get about Klay Thompson, because he's in the big three, right?
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah, you put him in the big three there for the Warriors.
He's part of that big three, so your big three isn't supposed to be the streaky shooter. I mean, there was a reason why Ray Allen and Mike Miller, I just mentioned before, weren't part of a big three or called a big four.
Because they were utility players.
Yeah, they're shooters.
That's what Andre Iguodala is. He's a utility player.
I mean, is Chris Paul, not Chris Paul, is Klay Thompson that? Should he be considered as part of a big three as Golden State?
Well, no, because, wait, what are you considering the big three for Golden State?
Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant.
Wasn't that always the...
Right, but what I'm saying is, when you have a big three, and in this case, Klay Thompson, it's not normally someone in a big three that is considered a streaky guy.
I know, it feels like a big 2.5.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think he's not usually this streaky, though. Like, he's usually really good, but I'm telling you, the absence of Andre Iguodala, because Andre Iguodala is the one that gets subbed in most of the time for Klay. So, I mean, to be able to have him play more minutes than he's supposed to may knock down his ability to be able to knock down shots. Mm-hmm.
Seems like everybody expecting the Cavs to take it tonight. They get to play at home in Cleveland.
Yeah.
6.5-point favorite.
And that's another big line. What is it? I mean, does Vegas just have a default line when Cleveland plays at home, 6.5, 7?
I said to Kevin before we started the show, I don't see the Cavs ever being in the playoffs the underdog unless they are playing the Warriors.
Well, it's panned out every game in this series, right? I mean, everybody's winning at home. I mean, the Celtics are like undefeated at home. The Cavs are winning at home. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's really interesting, in fact, just kind of looking at, what these teams do. Cleveland 7-1 in the postseason at home. They average 105 points, 47% shooting, and 36% from behind 3-point. And then you get them on the road, and then they can't do anything. They score less than 100 points.
I know, it's insane.
Every time. Yeah, so I mean,
different team.
But both these teams are that way, though. I mean, Boston's the same way.
Yeah.
What is it, Boston 9-10-0, something like it at home in the postseason?
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think their only loss, that one loss in the 7-1 was Game 1 against Indiana, if I remember correctly, in the first round.
Yeah.
Right? I think that was their only loss at home, was that Game 1 first round.
Yeah, it's like, remember we were like, oh my God, Indiana.
Yeah,
could they be the team? Victor Oladipo?
What's happening?
Yeah. What do you like more? LeBron James being able to win that Game 7 in Boston. Do you think that that is going to be a reality, or is LeBron, who's been to 7 straight finals and been down 3-1 the finals and come back? What do you like better, the Boston home court advantage? Or do you like LeBron's track record of how he seems to be able to come back and get the job done? Could he do it against the 10-0 Boston team at home in Game 7?
Absolutely. And I say this because we've seen it happen before. Miami is down 3-2 to Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Different team.
Different team, but he's
different
been
coach
there.
Too, right?
Same guy.
It was Doc Rivers then.
I believe it was Doc Rivers. Yeah. Yes, it was.
So it wasn't the great Brad Stevens.
But still, you and your Brad Stevens, your second coming of Brad Stevens. But it's the same LeBron James. You can't say his game has gone down any. But he's been here before.
The reason why I pointed at you and for you to answer, because I knew you were going to answer the right answer, which was, he's not going to lose.
No, he's not.
Yeah, there's no. I don't see. That is. The Celtics are once again playing with house money. I don't see a scenario where they win, but if they do, it's going to be like, really? And then who are you going to turn around and say made that happen?
Al Horford. I mean, I don't know. Who is it?
He's just an ass. Like, I mean, of course.
You asked me. I'm telling you.
I shouldn't have asked you.
No, you shouldn't have. That was your first mistake.
In the All-Star voting, I don't think the Celtics had anybody first, second, or third team.
Dude, nobody knew who these players were.
Amazing.
Coming into the playoffs.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they were like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
They only knew him because they were like the one kid was drafted this year, and he was a high pick. So I mean, like But I mean, other than that, the only people that knew was Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, who both of them weren't playing.
Right. I mean,
so
Tatum.
This is weird.
Yeah, Tatum wasn't a household name. We keep mentioning Al Horford jokingly, but I mean, when he did come over from Atlanta,
he's probably he's probably the most recognizable player on that team.
Did you see the Heat didn't have anybody at all?
Yeah,
I wonder why.
Sad.
Yeah.
Is it sad?
Well, it's sad from a fan perspective. It's predictable.
Yeah.
Okay.
33 players received at least one vote. None of them was from the Heat.
Oh, come on.
Not even a vote.
What?
Not even a vote.
I mean, they were all pretty hot garbage.
Wait a minute. Wayne Ellington had one of the best three-point shooting seasons in NBA history this past year. I'm just saying. He doesn't get one vote?
He didn't get one. Not one Heat player got one vote.
That's a joke.
In the NBA All-Star selections. It's the first time the Heat didn't get a single All-NBA vote since 2008, and that year they were 15 and 67.
Oh, yeah, that was a bad season.
Yeah.
Wait, and they got a vote that year?
No, they didn't get any.
Oh, they didn't get any vote. I was
time.
like, Jesus, you guys have to lose in order to be able to get votes.
And they were
that
in
was the last time.
playoffs.
And just to kind of like rewind a year ago, Hassan Whiteside finished ahead in the voting last year, ahead of Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, and Damian Lillard.
Holy cow.
That was pre-payday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But did you see Whiteside? He can sink a three-pointer. And he did a video to prove it.
Get this guy out of here.
It was the worst thing ever.
Where was he playing? At the Y?
He was at a training court in North Carolina, I think it was. He's like, go and see what happens when they let me shoot.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, come on. You can't.
I loved it because you got to go see the video because he gets trolled so hard.
I would imagine because you look a little douchey. That's why.
You're gonna have to bleep me out here if we don't go to break.
Well, I mean,
get this guy out of here.
Listen, you don't give him a lot of money. That's what you do. There's an old boxer that says it's really hard to get up and practice and go and work out when you're sleeping on silk sheets.
Heard a really cool clip yesterday that drastically affected my opinion on how I feel about the NFL kneeling rule and what they've done. How does America feel about it? I'll let you know coming up next.
It's Derek Jeter's favorite sports show, just like Derek Jeter is Florida's favorite owner. Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Party time, baby, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Woohoo!
This is an updated Sandstorm, updated version.
I can go with this better, yeah.
So this one's all right?
Yeah, this is a song that it's not 20 years old.
You never know later in the show.
What are you talking about? It's a classic.
Sandstorm?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Hey, come on. It's a classic.
It might be coming back. I haven't decided yet. I might be bringing it back later in the show.
You may not have the opportunity to decide.
You're going to take it.
I'm going to break your knuckles.
Well, it's day 2 of the NFL getting trolled about the policy that nobody seems to like, what they're doing with the national anthem. The latest on it today was that there was really no official vote that was taken. Apparently,
which I didn't know. I was like, really?
Yeah. Wow. Commissioner walks in a room. They got the owners in there, and he does a raise your hand kind of poll, which is a very informal kind of thing. And they pretty much went with it on that.
Whoops.
So no longer did they not, or not only did they not talk to the NFLPA, but apparently the owners themselves were going, look, it wasn't anything that was really official. It just seems like it was slapped together. In fact, they were talking about, as they were talking about the 5 points that they initially had for how they were going to construct the policy, they said it was written so quickly there were like typos all over it as they put it up on the board for people to review. They're like going, you misspelled like every word in here.
Come on, get Grammarly.
Yeah.
Get Grammarly. It does. It helps me. Let me ask you guys this. I saw this earlier. I don't know if any of you saw this earlier. According to an anonymous source, that one of the owners, I guess, was in this meeting, said the reason they did this is because they are, he used the curse word, he said, effing terrified of Trump.
Yeah.
That's how he characterized the meetings and why they changed the rule.
It is too bad. And a lot of people are saying that. The detractors are saying they're doing this to appease one man. This isn't even about the NFL, the base, the fans, anything else. You're really doing this for one guy. Turn that awful music off.
It came back to haunt you. You talk crap and that's what happens.
It worked perfectly. Outstanding.
You've been sandstormed.
I love it.
Yeah, so that was kind of the issue with it. They did a poll, and according to this, A majority of Americans say it's never appropriate to kneel during the national anthem. The poll found that 53% of Americans say it's never okay to kneel for the national anthem no matter what the circumstances. 42% said it's sometimes appropriate to protest by kneeling during the song. And a lot of people not only are just saying, hey, look, you're trying to make this all about Trump, but you're not really even understanding the concept of the kneeling in what it is. It's not about the anthem. It's not about the flag. It's about making a statement. So don't be offended by that. And I heard a clip that is on our Twitter. If you want to watch the full 2 minutes of it, that for me really kind of helped shape my thoughts and perspective on it, and how Colin Kaepernick himself got from, and I forgot about that, he initially started by sitting on the bench, and then it went to the kneeling, and exactly how he got to that point. And it was actually a former Marine that got him to that point, that was upset when he saw Kaepernick sitting on the bench and said, you know, I feel like you're pissing on my flag, dude. And Kaepernick actually responded to him. And he talked to him, and he gave him this suggestion to still get his point across, which he said, look, I believe in what the message you're trying to get across. Colin Kaepernick, I agree with you on that. I just don't necessarily like the way you're doing it, so here's a suggestion.
I expressed to him, maybe there's a different way to demonstrate where you're showing more respect for those that lay down their lives for what that flag and anthem stands for. I suggested, kneeling, because people kneel to pray. We'll kneel in front of a fallen brother's grave, to show respect. He said, I think that would be really powerful.
So in a sense, what he's trying to do, at least if you believe that audio, is that Colin Kaepernick is trying to still respect the flag, but he's trying to let you know that he's getting a social agenda and a message across. Which it doesn't seem like anybody who is upset with the kneeling is like, look, we don't want you to make a statement on the social injustices that are happening. We just feel like you're doing it at the cost of respecting the American flag and our national anthem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Ricky, but that made me kind of think twice when I heard that it was the idea of a former Marine. When they sat down and he said, hey, kneel. I mean, it was his idea.
Yeah.
It was his idea to kneel.
To say, I think this is a proper way to do it. You can achieve both agendas, still pay tribute and be respectful while letting people know that you've got something to say about what's happening in America.
Yeah, well, you know what? I do agree with that. I think that's better than sitting. But what it did was created a false narrative about the way that they feel about, because I guarantee you, I don't know where the hell that came from, but I guarantee you a lot of people don't look at it as paying any type of respect. They're looking at it as defecating on the flag. And I think that's the thing that pisses people off the most, is that it's the way it's perceived. Now, that makes sense, right? Because, the sitting, that's much worse. Much, much worse than the kneeling. And I agree with that. But there's a lot of people out there that are doing it and saying that the American... Because after that was when people were saying, well, the American anthem was written by a slave owner. And it's like that. It's like, okay, well, obviously, then that's the way you feel about it. But maybe now that's not the way Colin Kaepernick feels. Now, I think Colin Kaepernick is a scumbag. And that's just because of the pig socks and everything like that. The stuff he said about police officers, that's not cool. I'll never give him ever any respect ever again. But the other people that kneeled for injustice, it makes sense. That brings a lot of light to the understanding of it, but there's still a lot of people that look at the American flag because of this situation and say that it is not worth anything, which is untrue.
There's so many things that are muddying the water on this.
Exactly. The gigantic void that's in the middle of this gray area that lives inside of this controversy is so large that you can't navigate it. It's like a Marianas Trench.
Yeah. It feels like we're spending so much time arguing about things that are stupid and don't matter.
Absolutely.
And it's all about, am I winning or am I losing? And it's not even getting to the point of the social injustice agenda that is going on here that needs to be addressed, and is really what we should be spending all this time talking about in the first place, instead of, are we kneeling? Are we in the locker room? Are we not in the locker room? And the stupidity of the NFL policy. It just feels like it is, again, throwing chum in the water and all the sharks are in there gobbling it all up, and we're not getting anywhere.
And that was always my issue from day one when it came to the... as soon as this happened, it was still like 2 years ago now when this first happened?
Yeah, I think it's been 2 years.
It's almost been 2 years. And my first initial thought was, I get what he's trying to do, and just like, the former service member there we have the clip of, I agree with his stance. It's just... he was doing it the wrong way, and that's what he was getting at too. He said, well, why don't you kneel instead? Now, I've never heard that, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know how much that's going to be circulated in the mainstream media to maybe change some people's minds. So how did we get to where we are now with he is suggesting kneeling.
I think
and it became a bad thing.
You've got Trump on Twitter, and you've got people that are trying to oppose Trump, and this is all it is. Because with Trump, it's all about winning or losing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really what it is. People want to beat Trump, and it's like, guys, you're fighting about who's winning, who's not. How do Americans really feel? Is it affecting ratings?
The message is lost.
It's completely lost, and we're getting nowhere. We're spending so much stupid time talking about things that don't matter. Who cares?
It's so funny because, like, I mean, not to separate this into liberals and conservatives, but it really is. That's actually the divide here. It's liberals and conservatives. Because the liberals don't care. They're like kneel, crap, burn, don't care what you do to the flag. The conservatives are like, no, that represents our country.
Yeah.
The problem is that the liberal section of this is so just against that one man. And that one man is the face of this whole entire situation. And I guarantee you, if the president never got involved, we would not be having this issue anymore.
I know.
But he would not shut the hell up and just leave it alone. Because in all reality, yes, he is the arbiter of America to a point because he is the president of the United States. But still, this has nothing to do with you.
I'm trying to think back because this happened before Trump became president. The first time Kaepernick kneeled was at the start of the 2016 season. So it was before he won.
But he was on his way out.
He was on it. Right, no, I'm saying it was before Trump.
No, I say, but the controversy was on its way out.
And that's what I'm wondering. When did he first comment on this? And I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head.
I think it was when Trump was campaigning. He found a lot of these kind of things, and he started to see strength in picking up on these things, the anti-PC agenda.
Yeah.
And he knew where his base was, and he was the guy's smart in that respect, and he knew how to grab those votes, and he knows how to continue to throw fuel on the fire to keep his base going.
There's a reason why he won almost the entire Midwest.
Yes. No, he did.
He literally split the country right in half, and he won states that nobody thought would win.
Right.
And that's the reason why, because I don't want to say he pandered, but to a point he did. And it's so funny because everyone's like, Hillary. She pandered too. But much worse.
Well,
much worse.
Both sides do.
But that's politics, though. You have to do that. But he did it in a way that was able to actually affect the way that people voted, and a lot of it had to go around NFL. He attacked the #1 television show on the planet.
And it worked.
It worked.
Jack sent this email about our discussion yesterday. He said, I found it interesting when the guest you had on talked about what all red-blooded NFL fans want. I took this as what white people want to watch, and how it affects viewership. Now, just to compare viewership numbers of a predominantly red-blooded white sport, check out the numbers for NASCAR over the last 2 years. They've dropped almost 40%. And Trump actually congratulated the last champ and stated that everyone stands for the anthem in NASCAR. Can someone explain why this has dropped and it's not because of any protests? I think it's a bunch of BS that the NFL tries to blame viewership decline on the protests that the players have been doing. Viewership in all TV has dropped. Times have changed. I would think that somebody would have the intelligence to figure this out. Love the show and talk about hockey a little more often.
We did mention hockey yesterday, to be fair.
Yeah.
We did.
Jack, just for your info, I'm a 44-year-old white male.
Okay. But you know what, though? It's like that's a pretty common answer that it sounds like it's skewed towards the white America. And I don't know where people get that from because, I mean, none of it is skewed towards white America. Like, I mean, like everybody accepts it the same way, that we all watch it the same way, we all root for the same teams. I think sports was like the one thing where nobody had any color. Right. This is the reason why it pissed people off so bad. It's like, keep your politics out of my sports. I want to go to the bar on Sunday. I want to watch my football team. And no matter who, if you're a Dolphin fan, black, white, yellow, green, purple, you're all Dolphins fans.
That might be the worst part about this because you're right. Sports was always galvanizing, and it really was a great bridge for all the races and ethnic groups that we have in this country. And that's what's so sad about this is the one thing that brought us together is now the source of what seems to be tearing so many people apart.
But it's like that mentality is so toxic.
Yeah.
And it creates such a racial divide for no reason. Because it's not like white people are going, cops beat up black people. That's not happening.
Right.
You know, it's just that there's a part of it you don't like, there's a part of it we don't like. And it's like, why they're two totally different parts that we should not be divided on. Everybody hates cops beating up people, white, black, yellow, green, purple.
Yep.
And then everybody should hate disrespecting the country.
Right.
Because you live here. It's your country.
I agree.
So I don't understand where the racial divide comes in, but it's created.
Because it's all muddied up. Yeah. We can't get to the true points.
A friggin' gray area.
Got some interesting audio, man. The 911 call of Richie Incognito and a couple more details of just how bat bleep crazy he went in that gym in Boca. You'll hear that coming up next.
Think Gloria did a bad job? Wait till you hear this crap. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Richie Incognito had himself quite a day in that Boca gym.
Good Lord, what happened to this guy?
Starting to get some of the details of exactly what went on. You, I'm sure, have heard the story of there was a ruckus in that gym right there off of Yamato in Boca.
Yeah.
And some of the details about what was going on, Richie Incognito apparently was on the gym's outdoor turf area. There's this other guy that was out there. I don't know if they were necessarily working out together or just by each other. And this guy observed Richie Incognito and said that he immediately noticed something was off. He said Richie then went to the boxing mannequin, tore it off its pedestal, threw it on the ground in a wrestling move, and then sat on its face.
Oh my gosh, he's like Vader, like back in the old WWF days.
Wow.
Vader bomb.
Yeah. So I guess that's what he means by something was off.
Little off. Can I say, though, you know how hard it is to take one of those mannequins off the karate punching bag? That thing is like attached
never tried
to it. I tried. It's hard.
Have you ever sat on its face?
No, I've never.
Just for fun?
Darn it.
Just for fun?
No, I have not.
You haven't done that either, huh?
I'm just going to leave that one alone. Like, that one would definitely have to, the FCC will not like what I'd have to say about that.
Maybe speechless.
Out.
I mean, it'd have to be a sentence.
So I think this guy's kind of like looking over at Richie Incognito, just being like, okay. And then Richie Incognito starts cursing at him and tells him to get off his, quote, playground.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Apparently then he threw
he does have CTE.
The tennis balls and started chucking dumbbells at the guy. And then he said that the government was trying to get him.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
We should have known.
So the guy starts calling 911. Richie then accused him of being with the bleeping government.
Oh.
Then there was a woman apparently just chilling in the pool, and he yells at her to call the FBI.
Wow.
Then
That
the
was
police,
right on speed dial, sir.
Then the police show up, and he tells the police, I'm running NSA Class Level 3 documents through my phone. I can't have anybody in Bluetooth capability of me or taking pictures of me.
How does someone even think of saying that sentence?
What if he's right?
I know, right?
Yeah.
We're all saying
What
he's
if it's
crazy.
true, you know? What if it's
We're
true?
completely on, yeah.
Richie Incognito is a spy.
It's like the thing with aliens. Like, why do aliens only see crazy people? It's like, maybe we're the crazy people.
Yeah,
They're
maybe.
the sane people.
Several people close to the former NFL player saying, yeah, they needed to get some professional help. Yeah, is it going to come out that it was CTE? I think he'd even said that he was taking some kind of maybe a pre-workout kind of thing. He might have been on some stuff.
Whoa, I've seen some crazy pre-workouts before. None of them.
I don't think it's, I mean,
Yeah.
are you going to attack the mannequin, start chucking dumbbells around the gym?
It's like LSD.
Jeez.
And listen to just a little bit of the 911 call. This is the guy that's calling in. Be like, yeah, this dude's kind of freaking me out.
911.
Yeah, hi, I'm sorry. I've been trying to get in touch with you. But a gentleman chucked a tennis ball at me for no reason. Then he started throwing it at me. Then he tried to mow me over with the sled, and he just started yelling at me like he was going to kick my ass. He's trying to hit me now.
He's trying to hit you with what?
Yeah, his foot. I mean, it's huge. He just threw a weight.
I mean, it's huge.
He's like, with his foot, and it's huge.
Yeah.
It's a big foot.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
When I first heard that, I'm thinking to myself, what? Like he's taking his foot off and trying to hit
Yeah,
with his foot?
Like, what do you think, Lieutenant Dan?
It's huge.
It's huge,
Oh,
yeah.
poor guy.
I think he said that Richie Incognito was a little fat, too, so that might have ended the call.
I mean, that's insane. But the CIA thing, I mean,
Well,
what would cause you to go that crazy?
I honestly, I think you're going to get back to CTE.
I think it's going to have to.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of feel bad for laughing. I mean, this on the surface
Sure.
is very funny.
Yeah, the circumstances of it, yes.
Yes.
But you're right. I mean, again, this is one of those things where it again goes to show that the NFL seems like you're spending a lot of time on stupid narratives, and they've got a lot of things they really need to.
Oh, this CTE thing, they've been pushing away for a long time.
But man, I mean, you got these stories popping up, and is this right? Did Richie Incognito attack his car or a car?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was last year and a half ago. It was after the bullying scandal. Gosh, that's so stupid. After the bullying scandal.
Yeah, he took a baseball bat to a Ferrari.
Yes, his own Ferrari.
Yeah.
Outside his parents' house, I believe. I believe that was in Boca as well.
Yeah, I think his parents live here.
It was at his home in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay, not Boca.
Yeah. Don't listen to Diener. Fake news.
I believe it was in Afghanistan.
That's right.
When he did that.
Fake news.
And he hit a camel. Was this?
I do remember the Ferrari though.
Yeah, let me see. It was back in November. What year is this? This is 2014.
There you go. Perfect. So it was after the bowling scandal. So I got that part right.
Yeah, so you're talking over 4 years ago, yeah.
And it's Ricky Incognito, so you got that part right too. Good.
But I did say a year and a half ago. That's 4 years.
Okay, so if you look back at that, is that symptomatic of what is going on right now with this guy? And then would he have had the CTE back then? Is this a guy that's yeah, I guess I got to figure out, and you can't. That's the problem with CTE. You can't diagnose it when you're alive. So you got to wait and you got to do the autopsy to find out if he had CTE. So now you're just like, okay, he's mental. We don't know why.
I mean, and here's the tricky thing with Incognito is that he's always been a little wacky.
Yeah.
Like if you remember back in his college days playing at Nebraska, he was kind of like that Ndamukong Suh guy where he was a little bit of a dirty player. And then he was crazy with the Dolphins, obviously, and crazy with the Bills. So, but this is just a whole nother level of wackiness.
That means there was probably signs when he was a kid. If he was in his parents' basement pulling the wings off of flies and stuff like that, he should be like, I don't know if we should put him in football.
But all NFL players, in fact, all football players, they've got this easy excuse now. Anything wacky they do in life, I mean, that's the first thing we look at. CTE. Not my fault. I mean, you're walking around with that "not my fault" card.
Yeah, exactly.
I was hitting the head too many times.
Yeah. If you've played if you played a down of football, you're like, I got the CTE card because you're not going to know until I'm dead, so I'm going to use the excuse till I am.
Yeah. It's like people that are on a diet. You're like, is that a chocolate bar? But I love blood sugar. Come on, buzz off.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Thought this was cool. The Dolphins, they got their OTAs going on. They brought in Boca Raton High to kind of check it out, get to meet with the players, got to run through some drills. And it's all part of this RISE Leadership Program, which is fantastic. I love these kind of things. The RISE Leadership Program is designed to empower sports administrators, coaches, and athletes to be leaders in discussing and addressing matters of racism, prejudice, diversity, and inclusivity within their team, schools, and communities. And I just love programs like that. I went to Student Aces had an awards show last night. They gave an award to Pahokee and to Glade Central and had a lot of great athletes that were there. Dwight Stevenson, who former Miami Dolphin, he was there. You had Anquan Bolden, his wife Dion were also there. And it's just one of those things where it's using sports and athletics to bring along character and leadership and getting people on the right path. And one of the kids that won an award last night, his mom had been shot in the back and she was paralyzed for like 4 or 5 years before she died. And this kid could have gone down the wrong path, but he had somebody that kept him on the right path, and now he's modeling the right behavior, and he's a star athlete. He's got a 3.7 GPA, and he's showing other people how to do it. And so I love these programs and love that the Dolphins are, investing some time. So
very cool.
Yeah, so forgive them when they lose 8 games.
Fair enough.
In the first 9 this year.
8? That's in the first 9. I thought you were going to say this season.
They win the home opener just to give everybody a little hope.
Yeah.
They can do it. Oh no.
Have you guys seen the Cornhole League that is on ESPN?
I saw it today. I didn't realize this was like a thing on ESPN.
Good TV, bad TV. And what are some other options if we came up with basically a cornhole network? We'll discuss next.
Get Kevin's other show whenever the hell you want on YouTube and at 640thehurricane.com.
You guys are just sucking with the music today.
Boom, baby.
Yeah, Kevin, it's Friday.
Sucking, man.
Yeah.
God.
You ready for this?
Not only is it this awful music, but it's this awful music on AM.
It sounds so crisp.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's all
It probably sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh, horrible. I apologize.
There's an accident at around 3 o'clock on the turnpike, and you're wondering why. There's like cars just driving.
It's tough. It's
tough. Like 4 cars.
Friday, man.
That I assume that 4 people were listening to the show.
That's right.
I didn't know if this is a thing, but I looked up ESPN and the TV is on the background. I'm like going, is that cornhole?
It's a thing.
I'm like, wow. It really.
Are we getting like a warning? Something's going on here.
This is very odd.
Yeah.
This is like the day we had the fire alarm go off during the show.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
Remember that?
Yeah. So just ignore that in the background. Yeah.
This is what happens when we start talking about cornhole on TV. They interrupt
It's like it's
us.
trying to
Good
censor
radio.
it.
No, this is what happens when we
This is the CIA. This is what Richie Incognito was talking
about.
about.
Is Richie here?
They're listening.
Did he escape? Is that what this alert's about? He's like the juggernaut.
They're listening.
This thing go on, what, 10 minutes? Something like that?
It's going to go for a while.
Oh, gosh.
We'll just give it the
fun.
mic for the next hour. No,
okay.
Oh, now someone's talking.
Perfect. Sounds like Doug Gottlieb.
Do we have to have these things in studio? Is
You know, I never
is that a law? Does it have to be in an on-air studio? Do they have to do that?
I feel like
I mean, it's not like somebody that could knock on the door and be like, "Hey guys, just so you know, like the world's on fire," and like let us know. Do you have
it's
to?
The apocalypse. Is something going on?
You got to put the EAS.
We're also not listening to it.
No,
if
we're
you
not.
think about that.
It could be something.
Because I can't. What are we gonna do? We're gonna like quiet down during a broadcast.
Now it came
so
on TV.
Am I okay, Suits?
Everybody,
Is this a zombie test? Like
it's
what
in
happened in Lake
Spanish.
Worth?
I don't know what's happening. See, this is
Una autoridad civil en emitido.
Oh,
Oh, it's a monthly test.
It's a test.
Get out of here with your tests.
Oh my God.
I
All
love
that
live
for
radio.
nothing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyways, what were we talking about?
Can we look at like why we've got that in there? Is that something maybe we could look into? Like, why is that?
Could have been zombies. Who
Okay,
knows?
yeah.
We're good. We're good.
All right.
Anyway, Cornhole, ESPN. They've got an American Cornhole League. I had no idea. And it's kind of like one of those things where I'm like going, okay, do I hate this or do I love this? And I found myself oddly fixated watching dudes playing cornhole
It's fun.
on TV. And I'm like, you know what? This actually could work.
It's like one of those bar games that's like fun to watch. Like beer pong's fun to watch. Like they have beer pong leagues that's fun to watch. Cornhole.
Do they put that on TV?
I don't know if they put it on TV.
Because I got $1 million idea here, man. What
Let's
if
hear
you
it.
did just like bar league sports?
Yeah, Bar Olympics.
And it would be like its own channel.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nothing but 24/7. Because I started thinking about, okay, here's what your programming could be. Okay, I'm pitching these, buying or selling these on. Is Leo in there drinking?
He's literally in there. I looked over and I look
So
over and I'm
EAS
like,
is going off, and our boss is over there hitting a huge bottle of vodka.
he's like,
What the hell is going
I
on?
know where the
around-
Grey Goose is.
What is going on around here?
I think I should put Sandstorm back on.
and he's drinking out of a styrofoam cup. How
I know
low
what- I
budget
know
is
what
that? Dude, are you
Here it comes.
Did you just pour the biggest glass of vodka in a styrofoam cup?
Wait a minute, was that emergency alert that came across the TV just a test?
Yeah, it was just a
Oh,
test.
it was
After
just-
My bad. I was like, if it's going down, it's going down.
And over the radio, we're here like, and this guy's talking in the background. I'm like,
bad.
what? I'm like, there's so many hindrances to broadcasting right now. I mean, it's unbelievable.
So now we know what happens if there's an asteroid coming to Earth. You're
Hey,
just
dude,
gonna
can you
see
give me
Leo.
some of that?
Yeah.
Give me
Bottle of
some of
vodka.
that vodka in
I
there,
was like,
man.
this is not a drill. Okay, let's
At this
go.
point, honestly, yeah. Let's just throw it out the window. Yeah, while you're here, Leo, might as well you can feed off on this. I'm talking about putting together a bar league. And
Yes.
if you did like bar TV, if you did it as a whole network, because ESPN's now showing cornhole,
Okay.
oddly
Wait a
fascinating.
Yes. I like how you said okay and then realized.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
What?
Sounds.
Huh?
Wait, huh?
Yeah, and oddly enough, I gave it probably about 10, 15 minutes, probably maybe 12
You really
more
gave it that
minutes.
much?
I did. I got,
Wow.
you know what? It's weird stuff. It's kind of like a cat playing the piano. Like, you don't know why you're watching, but you do.
Dude, I hate that.
I feel like this is like Dodgeball, the movie all over again, where cornhole
Yep.
should be on the Ocho.
The Ocho.
And, like,
Yeah,
you're
it is.
watching this.
ESPN Ocho.
It is the Ocho, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really happening.
You know, oddly enough, I watch competitive eating. When they do the
Sure.
4th of July,
God, it makes me sick.
I don't know what it is, man. When you had the Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnut
Yeah.
days, I was 12 minutes. I was locked in.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like 12 minutes of just guys shoving wieners down their throats. Like,
Wait,
I
what?
don't.
Yes.
As Ricky likes to call it, Wednesday.
All right.
fair. That's a good point.
There's enough out of you, Leo.
They're like, give this guy vodka more often.
Diener's just happy because he's not the only one getting picked on. That's why.
right.
Would beer pong work?
Beer pong totally works. They have beer pong leagues now.
Yes.
Do they- if you televise
I would
beer
watch
pong?
that. I would watch beer pong.
Hell yeah.
They came out with like a beer pong preferences, and they're talking about like what people want to drink in their glasses, and craft beer is the #1 choice.
Oh, what?
Followed
So
by
heavy.
cheap beer, liquor's third.
Wow. Why would you do
Ouch.
that?
But
Here, you got one game. One game.
But here's my question. Okay, is that saying that that's what they're putting? Because I thought if you're doing beer pong right, you don't put alcohol in the glasses. You put water in there.
Yeah, and then you line up the actual alcohol on the side.
Right.
Which,
Yeah.
signifies what you should drink if a ball. Because I'm not trying to have a ball that's been all over the floor, all over everyone's hand, hit the liquid that I'm then going to drink.
Yeah.
I understand that alcohol kills everything, but.
No, exactly.
There's some funk I'm not trying to deal with.
Wait, Dean, are you doing it wrong?
I've been doing it wrong. I'm drinking dirty beer.
Dirty ball. You're
never
actually
played like
drinking
that.
dirty ball water.
Yeah,
is what
that's
you're
true.
drinking.
Yeah,
Right.
Just
That's
saying.
all
also
good.
called Wednesday for Diener.
Yeah, but.
Ball water.
I think the heat was on you. What are we doing? Keep it over there.
No, I do the same way. I never line up, do the water thing now.
Really?
Yeah.
But
You
I
never-
also don't drink very often too.
Wait a minute.
I'm very good at it. This
Oh,
is
so
why.
it's just when you
Oh,
drink.
okay,
I'm not
you're
the one
saying-
drinking.
You're saying you're okay.
I get like 1 or 2 cups here and there.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty solid.
I don't believe you.
How many games do you play a
Nobody
night?
cares.
When you play beer pong, how many do you do?
Ooh, it depends on what we're drinking with. If it's light beer, I mean, I can go game after. I don't know if I've never counted how many games until I fell asleep. Usually,
Yeah, they say for men the average is 3 to 4 a night.
I was gonna say 5 to 6.
Well, I mean, what's the the standard pour for beer pong? I mean, how much of the glass are you
It's
filling?
supposed to be a third,
It's
right?
a third.
I think so. Yeah,
Whoa,
they
that's
say
a
the most
lot.
common rules are cups are 1/3 filled. That's
Mm.
the most common rule.
We do the 2.5 beer rule.
Meaning what? That you have to use 2.5 beers.
2.5
just
beers for all the cups. Yeah.
on all the
Oh,
cups.
gotcha.
Okay.
No,
Makes
like
sense.
yours. Like you have used 2.5 for yours. They use 2.5 for
geez.
the air.
No, that's a lot of beers. Mm-hmm. No, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking, like a quarter of the cup.
What do you
gets
do?
filled with
What
beer.
do? Do a thimble or something
No,
like that?
like a quarter of the cup.
Friggin'
No, a
rebel
third-
you are.
I think a third is fair.
Third seems right.
He fills his with prosecco.
It's delicious.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they say the most standard rules: cups 1/3 filled, 1 re-rack allowed,
Okay.
and the automatic win condition is both balls in the same cup.
That's you get both balls in the same cup.
And then what is it? Then they got to drink everything.
Yeah, then it's well, no, both balls in the same cup is a rollback. So you get to roll the balls back, and you each get another shot. Now, if it's both balls in the last cup, then you're done.
Okay.
Yeah, the final cup. If both players get their ping pong balls in there, because that was about to get weird. Ping pong balls in there, then that's the end of that.
Okay. All right. So you're watching cornhole if it's on TV.
Yes.
Would you watch air hockey?
I think I would. Like I feel like beer pong is like the football of the beer sports league, and then you have cornholes like the basketball. At this point, air hockey is.
I think you'd have to have a lot of variety because you get burnt out pretty
I
quick.
actually think though I would have more fun watching foosball.
I was just about to
Really?
say
Oh,
that.
okay.
Because now you've got a lot. There's a lot of stuff going
of
on
movement.
there, and some people get really nuts.
Have
and,
you ever seen
know,
people that are like amazingly
That's what I'm
good?
saying.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you see a really wicked foosball player, it's crazy. Like they're passing and like I mean, you can't even follow the ball.
Yeah.
Now
They're sitting there
pool-
with a diagram.
Yeah.
If we attack, you're talking to plastic players.
It's
Pool is on
amazing.
this list too, right? I mean, because pool's a bar game, but they already have
Yeah.
professional pool
You
leagues.
could put it in there. Yeah, you could do pool. I mean, they
Yeah.
televise pool already.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think if you're trying to do something like you'd have to take darts and pool out because that's already like professional leagues.
They-
It's like Olympic sports at this point in time.
Yeah,
so.
and honestly, it's kind of boring. Honestly, pool is never. I've never really watched pool.
They're too
and been-
good.
Yeah.
It doesn't represent any pool game I've ever played.
Yeah,
See, now,
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
the key. You got to have regular guys playing
Nobody
pool.
ever misses.
Regular
Well, yeah.
drunk
You
know?
guys.
Because the best is drunk people playing pool because
Yes.
they're bad and then they
Yes.
get mad at themselves for being bad. It's like who the hell do you think you were in the first place?
That's more.
like
that's
why?
more entertaining.
Yeah.
That's what we show.
I was thinking about the worst bar game that you could televise: Ring and String. You ever seen that
that's-
thing where you
Oh
take
my
that?
god, it's so annoying.
Have you ever accomplished it?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Never
quarters
have.
would be
No, I
pretty.
have.
Quarters would be pretty boring to watch too.
quarters? Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of drinking games that would kind of be fun.
Flip Cup would be awful,
Flip
wouldn't
Cup?
it?
No, Flip Cup would be fun
You think
to watch.
Flip Cup? Yeah, really?
Because it gets so intense towards the end of the line.
Does.
But I mean, the skill level's low.
Sure.
Depends on how much you drank.
Well, the drunker you get, the more skilled you think you are.
Well,
right?
that's the best part.
I mean,
is
that's,
you
you know.
get
That-
beer strength.
That's what they're not doing that I think would be great. If you had people getting tremendously hammered in
Right.
these things, and that was a big part
That's
of it.
must-watch TV.
Yeah.
That I want to see.
Yeah.
Well, and if they had like a tally, like you would see them be like going, wow, that dude, if for instance you were doing beer pong, be like, he's 8 beers in.
Yes.
And you're, I mean, handicapping. And if they did gambling on it, how fun would that be to be drinking, watching a beer pong league, and you're putting in live bets as it's going on?
This is a good idea, man.
I'm telling you.
I don't think
do it. This could do it.
I don't think we should air this. We're giving out all of our ideas.
All right, some fun stuff to check out. Just want to let you know if you're into the strip club scene, Monroe's #1 club in America. It's going to be featuring the nation's top feature entertainers, all competing for, looks like $5,000 in cash.
Hey.
3-time Entertainer of the Year. Christy Aguchi is going to be there. Porn Star and Entertainer of the Year nominee Angela Summers and 2-time national pole champion Natasha Nova.
Hey now.
No Stormy Daniels?
You know what's really weird to me is when you sit down with a dude and they know more than 15 porn stars that they can rattle off.
Oh, dude,
and they start naming the movies, and you're just like,
tell you more than 2.
You're like, wow. I mean, that's when you start shuffling down the bar. I'm like, okay, you kind of move down a little bit. You're like, all right, that's cool, because something on this guy's sticky. All right. Hey, you can watch this Kevin's Other Show on YouTube. You can download the podcast and check us out on Twitter.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach. A world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.